So unfortunately, my laptop case broke recently and I have to reprint a new one, which is fortunate for you because I actually didn't even show you how I created this laptop case when I first originally printed it. So today I'm going to show you how in the world I created my own custom laptop case. Just so you are aware, because I get a lot of questions about how well the prints hold up over time. I printed this in January. It is now June, so it's been 6 months. The reason why I have to reprint it is because the corner of this broke, and so it just keeps plopping off of my my laptop. It just comes off way easy. So I got to do another one. I'm going to print the same thing because I really like the way that this turned out. But look at how well these prints are still holding up. I don't think that there is a nick or scratch or anything in the entire thing. I mean, it looks really good. There is something that I am going to do differently with this print than I did with the original print, because if you notice right here, it's going to be really hard, but just right here centered in the middle, you can kind of see that the pictures get a little hazy and they're not as crisp as like the ones that are on the sides. The reason for that is when I printed this, I printed it just like, they just threw this right into the bed. But the problem here is that you probably will not be able to see it, but the inside portion right here flops inwards. Just that small amount of space difference between the outside and then where it droops in on the middle changed the print quality tremendously, in my opinion. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox the new cover. I'm going to put it onto my computer screen or my computer, and I'm going to throw my printer, my computer into the printer like this. That way, this in the middle is the same height as everything here. So it's all going to be tight and flat and look amazing, outside of it doing a little bit of a dip. Okay, even that small amount of print head difference will make a difference when it comes to your print quality. So let's head over into Canva first, where I show you how I set up my document to where I can fully design within Canva, upload it into the EufyMake Studio software and not have any sizing issues. Then we'll get to printing and I'll show you how I prep this and how I'm going to print it and how it was differently last time, okay? So first things first, let's head over into Canva and let's go. Okay, so this is what my finished file looks like. Very similar to what we have here, right? So how I prefer to do any type of design work for the EufyMake Studio, there's actually two ways you can do this. One way is to create a document that is the full bed size of your Eufy. So if I go to Eufy, I have two bed sizes. One that is for the smaller one and another one for the larger one. Those two right there are designed as for the actual size of the small bed and the large bed. Now, when I am creating items that need to fit directly onto a thing like this, what I like to do is I like to create my document size. So if we go over here into create, you're gonna do a custom size. I like to toggle this over into inches, and I like to take actual measurements of the thing that I'm about ready to print on. Okay, so I do give it a little bit of a buffer just so that there's a little bit of bleed that happens over on the sides. But I create documents the same size as my thing that I am printing on. So there's two ways to go about this. I prefer, if we're doing something like this, that you're going to make the document the size of what you're printing on. The other way, which is going to be based on what, like the large bed or the small bed, I like to do that if I'm going to be printing on multiple things, like golf balls, if you will. If I'm printing on multiple different golf balls, I like to design within that. It just helps creating the jig faster and things like that. Okay, so come over here, create your custom size, and then this right here is going to be what if you're using the same laptop case as me, my file is 12.5 by 9 inches. So 12.5 wide by 9 inches tall. And all I've done is I have dragged and dropped a bunch of pictures that I have taken over my phone over the years, and I just put it in here. I do prefer projects like this. There are two softwares that I prefer using. One's going to be Inkscape. It's 100% free. And then this one that we're obviously in is called Canva. And with Canva, I like using Canva for projects like these with the pictures. It does really, like, to do pictures in Inkscape and to create, like, to customize the way that this looks and things like that. It's a little bit harder to do in Inkscape versus like if you were to do this in Canva. So I kind of toggle between both softwares because I think one software highlights like SVG files and, you know, like if I were to create this project in Xtool and Eufy to use two different machines, it blends well there versus, you know, so you will notice that if you watch more of my videos, I toggle in between those two those two softwares. Okay, so this right here, I just like using it for photos. Canva I like to use for photos if I'm going to be doing it on the EufyMake Studio. Okay, so when you have your entire thing filled in, this is what my final print is going to look like. I don't think that I'm going to change anything more outside of maybe I want to drag this down a bit. All right, we Gucci, we're ready to go. So we have created a file that you are happy with, right? You've drag and dropped all of your pictures, arranged them in the way that you see fit. I think working in Canva is super easy, it's very user friendly, okay? So when you're happy with what you have here, what you wanna do is come over here to share and then download. If you do not pay, I do want you to know that you could be using the free Canva for today's project and wouldn't, like, it's fine. As long as you create the size to the same size as this, you should be Gucci, okay? However, I am gonna take it a step further, and this is where it takes me out of the free Canva and into the Canva Pro. I pay for Canva Pro, so is I'm gonna up my pixels. The reason why I want to make my pixels as high as possible is the print quality ends up being the best possible. So the best amount of pixels, the best amount of prints, and I love good quality prints. So I'm gonna make sure to bump up the quality a bit, okay? And then all I'm gonna do is I'm going to download. It is going to probably take a little bit if you bumped it up as high as me, because the higher the quality, the more resolution, the more memory it takes, yada, yada, so on and so forth. So we got here, I'm gonna save this. Now we are gonna head over into the EufyMake Studio software. I did just complete a test print, which turned out fabulous. I ensured that everything worked out well. So I'm just gonna press finish, and then I'm gonna press this plus sign. This test print sheet is something that I sell within my cardstock warehouse, Celebration Warehouse, and I think it's honestly a must-need a digital download for the EufyMake UV printer, because anytime your printer has been sitting for a while, mine has been sitting for a while, I always like to start with a test print. That just ensures that when we go to print on our blank, that the print is going to be perfect. Had my test print not turned out good, I would have done a little bit of troubleshooting to ensure that when it's finally working, that you have a good quality print. The last thing you wanna do is print something on a blank and then it not be good, and then you have to spend more money on another blank, okay? So going back over here into a new, the new project, I'm gonna come over here right now. It's set to the mini flatbed, but I actually want to do the standard flatbed. And then I am going to find my download and drag and drop it into the EufyMake Studio software. Now this is going to be a large file, so it may take a couple minutes for it to, pop up. While we wait for that to pop up, you will notice that my craft room is looking a little new. I used to have my Eufy on a white cart, and now I have all of these really cute pink cards. And so I still have the white cart. It's in my craft closet. It's being utilized with my 3D printer. I have to tell you that while these right here are aesthetically pleasing and I love them so much, it doesn't really I mean, it holds the Eufy just fine with plenty of space to hold the X tool F2 and then some more, but it doesn't really bode well when we want to use the large flatbed for this printer, because I'm gonna have to pull this out of the wall and I'm gonna go, okay, instead of that one print cart that I had for over a year, you just drag it around and stuff like that. So still get the white print cart that I've always used. Don't mind the pink cart. They are cute. I love them. I am not going to go back to the white one because I like the way that this looks, but just know that this right here is not as convenient as that white cart, okay? I sacrificed convenience for beauty here. I got my large flatbed right here. Now I gotta pull this sucker out of the wall. It's not hard to move. It's just not as convenient as that white cart. You know what I mean? That white cart was definitely way more convenient. But we are going to take out the mini flatbed and I am going to insert the large flatbed. Now you will see that on top of my sticky mat, I have a layer of transfer tape. This is just transfer tape, the same transfer tape that you would use for like vinyl, adhesive vinyl. You know, when you create adhesive vinyl transfers and stuff like that, this is what this is. I put it on here just to protect the sticky mat, because you do know that sticky mat is a consumable product. We don't really want to consume way like faster than what we need to. So I just protect it with this. You can see I've been printing other things on here. It had a knot, this would be all over my sticky mat, and then it ended up not being a good looking sticky mat, you know? So we're gonna put this in here. I'm gonna lock this into place. I think I should be pulled out from the wall enough, but I'm just gonna pull it out just a little bit more. Okay, so this right here is the case. What you wanna do is you wanna take this plastic stuff off. And then with the original project, what I did is I just put this in here. The problem here is that it kind of bows. I don't know if you can actually tell that from this angle, but there is just a little bit of a bow that it just curves in. And that does affect the way that your print head or your print will print, because that little bow is just enough to get that fuzzy look. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to take my clear protective cover and I'm gonna put it onto my laptop. Okay, I am gonna be laptopless while this prints, but it is just going to make it to where it's nice and taut, pulled tight to where there is not going to be that bow, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put this into my EufyMake UV printer. I'm gonna try and make it nice and straight. All right, then what you want to do, because this is really important, is you want to use an adhesion prep pad. And what this is going to do is it's going to prep your base or your blank to make sure that your print stays as long as possible. Now, if you are a gel nail girly, which that's what I am, I have gel polish, this adhesion prep promoter pad will take off your gel polish. So just want to put a glove on just to ensure that it doesn't take it off. Now mine says for metal, but to be honest with you, it all works the same. So I get the promoters from Eufy. Sometimes it will say plastic, glass, or metal. It's all the same, okay? And it does stink. It's like the stinkiest thing ever, but you just want to take it off out of the packaging. I have heard that if you put it back in the packaging and then zip it up into a Ziploc, they last longer. So just a fun little fact. But I am going to rub the top of my case all over. This is just pretty much what it's doing, is it's taking off all the oils and things like that is going to make it it just be a really good rough surface for the print to print on. Couple things to note when we do something like this is that technically, one, you don't want to touch the top anymore. But when you open this up, my opening to my laptop is right here. Okay, so whatever I print, the top of my print needs to be here, because when I open it up, this is going to be the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna have to turn the print, and we do not want to turn it to the left because then it'll be upside down when we open it up. Okay, so we're gonna turn it to this side. Okay, I'm gonna try and make this as straight as possible, eyeballing that. All right, now that that is done, what we're gonna do is we are gonna come over here into the software, and you're gonna press Snapshot. What that's doing is it's doing a live preview of what is inside the Eufy now. Now, just like I had told you before, the top is technically to the right side, right? The top, yep, it's working. The top of my laptop is on the right-hand side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna rotate this 90 degrees. Just like that. That's really all you had to do. So I am going to set up my print mode now since we're waiting for that to get done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here into material. I am printing on plastic, so I'm gonna click plastic. And I want to be high quality for this because I take this traveling. I want people to see it and like be wowed at my laptop case. So I'm gonna do high quality. And then let me click on this. I actually want this to then be white, CMYK, and gloss. I want it to have like this glossy finish too, like super high gloss. So we're gonna do 5 layers of white, 1 layer of CMYK, and then 1 layer of gloss. You could adjust these if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna keep it the way that Eufy suggests for plastic. All right, now that the snapshot is done, the one really cool feature, I think it still needs a little bit of work, but there is this really cool feature. It's called the contour button, and it kind of picks up like where the laptop is at. You can see that it didn't do 100% perfect job, right? It's kind of missing the edges, but that's fine. I'm not gonna rate it. I don't rate anything. I know that's probably terrible, but I'm just gonna press finish. So what the contours does is if you drag this and it will drag your print, it should drop right into the autofill. So do you see how it just like dropped it right in there? And now when we zoom in, it's even around the corners, okay? The reason why I am not a fan of this 100% is you can see that there is just a little bit hanging off on the very top, okay? And then over here on the sides, I want it to be fully covered. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and then I'm gonna take this contours button, oop, come on. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna turn off the auto contours and I'm just going to put this on myself. I'm just gonna manually put this. All right, now I'm gonna place this on my thing all by myself, making sure that it's nice and covered throughout my entire case. And then I'm also going to bump down the transparency here just so I can totally see what I'm doing. I am going to make sure that we readjust this back after we're done. All right, so you can see that I have bumped down the transparency so you can see through it. It's not as bright, but you can see that the laptop case, it's gonna be really hard to see, but there is this like brighter edge right here and my print is past that. So all the way around the entire thing, I'm gonna have a little bit of overspray. I think that that is fine. I just wanna make sure that my entire laptop case is fully covered. So everywhere I see an edge to my laptop case, there will be some sort of print, okay? So I am happy with the way that this looks. I'm going to make sure and bump the opacity back up. Okay, now it's gonna be nice and bright. It's just easier to see when you bump the opacity down, for me at least. Okay, so we have already set up all of the print settings that we needed. At this point in time, what you need to do is just press print. So this is going to take a total of 1.5 hours to complete. And the reason why it's going to take so long is because I'm printing in high quality. If you wanted to save on time, I would just print on standard because then it prints faster. But just so you're aware. Okay, so this is going to take a total of 9.66 milliliters. It's about 50 cents per milliliter. So we're looking at about, what is that, $5? $5 an ink. Again, high quality, more time, more ink. If you wanted to save on both, just use standard. I'm sure it would be fine at standard, but I just like printing in high quality for something that people are gonna see all the time. I'm just gonna press start on my computer and I will see you back here in 1.5 hours when this is finished. Friends, I'm actually kind of upset about this. This is really have never happened to me before. I'm going to go with 75% of this print looks good. And it's not the crispiness of the print that's the issue. Are you ready for this? Do you see this? This banding right here? And it goes all the way to about here. And you can see it straight down. Everything that's over here on this side. Do you see that weird coloring? Are we for real right now? This is something happened to the printer. The first little bit of print. Because the rest of this looks fire. Look, if we can just cover this up. This all looks so good. I'm actually pretty upset. So to give you an idea of what this looks like compared to the original, this is what the original looks like. This is what this one looks like, the new one. I do think that the quality is definitely way better on this than this because I put the computer on there. However, it just sucks that this portion of the print looks terrible. Do you think this looks terrible? Like if you were to see this, do I have to reprint this? I feel like I do. If you were to see me in an airport and I had my computer up like this and I was working, would you think that this was a low quality piece of work or what? You let me know. Because I am now debating on whether or not I have to buy another one and waste a blank. I don't know what happened, y'all. There must have been something that was like clogged within the printer to like have this, and then it must have cleared itself by the time it got to here because the rest of the print looks good. It's whatever it is right here. This is so obnoxious. Well, all in all, I'm sure hope that you learned a bunch of things from this video. On top of, we did end up getting a kind of a screw up job, but that's okay, I guess. I don't know. You let me know. Would you keep this or would you reprint this? I'll see you next time, my friends.